send the children to bed. We want all of you to meet monsters we've known and loved on Hollywood and the Stars. Vampires, ghouls, and werewolves. These nightmare creatures embody the universal dread of the grave, the shadows, the unknown. They strike some deep chord within us. Through them, and with no risk to ourselves, we dabble in forbidden worlds of mystery, madness, and malevolence. And we have the dubious pleasure of being frightened out of our wits. Germany in the 1920s is the birthplace of the horror film, and the cabinet of Dr. Caligari, one of the first, sets a pattern for generations to come. The tale of a creature sent upon nocturnal errands of evil. Caligari will be recognized even by psychologists as a daring experiment in neuroses and nightmare. In another classic, Nosferatu, German movie makers resurrect the medieval vampire legend. Living on human blood, the vampire is a denizen of the dark who perishes when touched by the rays of the morning sun. Another ancient legend inspires the golem. When a stone statue is brought to life through a sacred incantation for evil purposes, it destroys its creator. Soon, the appeal of the horror film catches on in Hollywood, and one of the best chillers of the silent era exploits a classic situation. An innocent girl menaced by a fiend. Laura LaPlante is the lovely victim in The Cat and the Canary. In 1925, Hollywood produces an offshoot of the horror film by bringing prehistoric monsters to the screen in The Lost World. These scenes, done with miniatures and trick photography, are an incredible spectacle to unsophisticated audiences of the 20s. In the hands of an actor like John Barrymore, horror pictures approach art. Barrymore stars in the first Hollywood version of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and transforms himself into the evil Hyde in full view of the audience without camera tricks. It is a remarkable tour de force by a great actor. Universal Studios becomes the Hollywood headquarters of horror, and its major asset is Lon Chaney. The son of deaf-mute parents, Chaney had to master pantomime as a child, and this extraordinary talent makes Chaney the most unique star of monster pictures in any era. Chaney is obsessed with these bizarre roles. He performs his own dangerous stunts, personally creates his own makeup. He even subjects his body to binding costumes and excruciating postures. He first commands the attention of the world with an astonishing performance in The Hunchback of Notre Dame. In the creation of an incredible gallery of grotesque, no star has ever rivaled Lon Chaney, the man of 1,000 faces. He's a crippled beggar in The Miracle Man, a sideshow freak, half man, half duck in West of Zanzibar, the tragic buffoon of Laugh, Clown, Laugh, the withered mandarin in Dr. Wu, a black-caped madman in London After Midnight, a half-blind derelict in The Road to Mandalay. In The Unholy Three, Chaney is a white-haired but lethal spinster. And in The Phantom of the Opera, he petrifies audiences with the ultimate in screen horror as he is unmasked by Mary Philbin. The coming of sound to the movies lends a new dimension to horror. Flesh will crawl not only from what is seen, but from what is heard. The eerie sounds of the moor, the bog, and the graveyard. From this era arise new specters to haunt the night. The dreaded Count Dracula, in the person of Bela Lugosi, reincarnates the vampire legend. Lugosi becomes so fond of his role that before he dies, he even requests to be buried in the black cloak of Count Dracula. For a decade, Lugosi troubles the dreams of horror fans as king of the vampires.
Look at me, Andreas. Look at me. Andreas, come here.
Master. Come, Andreas. I must find a new resting place. There you will bring the coffin with my native soil. And then, Andreas, I have other plans.
The sound era also makes a big to-do about mad doctors and their infernal machines. And while these films may not be scientifically accurate, they are notoriously noisy. In the vanguard of an endless parade of cellar scientists and laboratory lunatics is Preston Foster as Dr. X, who delights in transforming himself into a gruesome fiend. Also high in scientific circles are Lionel Atwill, George Zucco, and following in his father's footsteps, Lon Chaney Jr., who plays not only scientists, but their monstrous creations as well. But the maddest doctor of them all is Boris Karloff. A mild-mannered and cultured Englishman, Karloff becomes the personification of screen terror. Karloff achieves immediate stardom when he transforms himself into the Frankenstein monster. In a grotesque role, this sensitive stage actor hides himself under pounds of makeup and utters only inarticulate grunts. But Karloff, like Cheney, has many faces, many ways to curdle the blood in films like The Mummy, The Mask of Fu Manchu, Chamber of Horrors, Black Friday, The Body Snatchers, The Old Dark House, and The Tower of London. Karloff is most at home when he's involved in a diabolic experiment. And in the tradition of all horror pictures, when Karloff the scientist dabbles in the unknown, he destroys everything, including himself. It is an historic occasion whenever Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi confront each other. Their very presence weaves a spell of mystery and horror.
Ready for the test, Dracula? I'm ready, Frankenstein. Then let us begin. You understand, Bela, don't you? That the one who wins this little game of chess is to lead the parade at the film stars' frolic. Okay, Boris. Your move. Right.
Hollywood always loved an occasional monster from the jungle or lower depths. But in 1933, the phenomenal success of King Kong starts a trend from which we have never recovered. Mighty Joe Young is one of the distinguished alumni from the King Kong School of Dramaturgy. Audiences relish watching a primitive beast on a rampage against civilization. Today, the anxieties of the atomic age and the challenge of the space era open even wider vistas for the monster movies. Hollywood turns to science fiction, the world of tomorrow, where an enticing array of new monsters wait to pounce on us. Real flying saucers have been seen by only a select few, but now, through the courtesy of Hollywood, everyone can see them, manned by invincible robots armed with fearsome death rays. Leave it to creatures from another planet with no respect for authority or architecture to spread picturesque holocaust. For reasons of their own, primitive monsters all seem to have chips on their shoulders. And from centuries of slumber, they arise from the depths to show modern man who's boss. And we must beware, too, of other creatures, conceived in test tubes or sired by lightning bolts, like the amazing colossal man. And then, representing the fair sex, there's the 50-foot woman. Atomic radiation can play strange tricks. Through its power, a tiny crab can become not only king-size, but very mean. And a long-leggedy beastie like the giant spider can develop a built-in flamethrower. And then there's a wonderfully photogenic fellow, a great big blob who fancies himself a global gourmet. He'll eat anything. There finally comes a time when the Earth people must fight back against creatures like the Thing, played by James Arness, before he becomes Marshall Dillon. The last reels of most science fiction films are primarily educational. They are lessons in how to get rid of a movie monster in all kinds of gory and tantalizing ways. To combat a Martian lizard, the Pentagon recommends that you trap him atop the Colosseum in Rome and annihilate him with army tanks and bazookas. In the 1960s, Hollywood sets the stage for a new kind of monster movie, which is meant to be funny. Produced by American International Pictures, they feature the lethal lunacy of Vincent Price and Peter Lorre. In their first hit, Lorre, in Feathers, plays the Raven, half man, half bird.
Hot place to keep clean, huh?
Yes, I very seldom get down here.
Oh,
Thank you. Forgive me, Pop.
what did he say?
He told me to beware.
Of what?
I don't know.
I suggest we better leave you, huh?
Yes.
In their latest effort, a comedy of terrors, Price and Lorre are two poverty-stricken undertakers who drum up customers in a perfectly logical way by killing them.
If you make one more tap.
Are you kidding?
And as an omen of things to come, Hollywood gives us an epic called The Incredibly Strange Creatures Who Stopped Living and Became Mixed Up Zombies. A choice blend of noise, violence, monsters, rock and roll, and teenagers. Oh, where have they gone? The werewolves and the mummies, the Draculas and the Frankensteins. Perhaps if we had shown them a little more love, they would still be with us.
Stay tuned now for the Couch Classics as Channel 2 presents David Soul and Ron Moody in the Dog Pound Shuffle. Coming up next. Parental discretion is advised.